In part 3, the Whites bury Herbert. Several days passes and the couple feels exhausted and hopeless. A week after the burial, Mr. White wakes up and hears his wife crying by the window. He gently urges her to come back to the bed, but she refuses. He dozes off again until Mrs. White suddenly cries out that she wants a monkey paw. In a hysterics, she tells him to go downstairs and wish Herbert's back to life. Mr. White resists and tells her that Herbert's death and the £200 they had received had nothing to do with his wish the previous night. Mr. White says that he didn't want to tell her before, but Herbert was so mangled that he had to identify the body by looking at the clothes. Mrs. White doesn't listen. However, the continues to resist on wishing Herbert's back to life with the monkey's paw. Mr. White retrieves the paw from its place downstairs. Mrs. White orders him to make the wish 2 more times until he finally complies. He makes the wish, and as they wait, the candles goes out. They hear the clock, the cracks of stairs, and the sound of mouse. At last, Mr. White goes downstairs. His match goes out, and before he can strike another, he hears a knock at the door. Another knock sounds, and Mr. White dashes upstairs. Mrs. White hears the third knock and says it's Herbert. She realizes he hadn't returned right, but the wish had been made because he had to walk 2 miles from the graveyard to their house. Mr. White begs her not to open the door, but she breaks free and runs downstairs. As she struggles to reach the bolt, the knocking becomes more insistent. Mr. White searches frantically for the paw, which had dropped to the floor. As Mrs. White pulls back the bolt, Mr. White finds the paw and makes a final wish. The knocking stops, and Mrs. White cries out. Mr. White dashes downstairs and sees that beyond the door the street is empty.